So Sheryl Swoopes responded to Stephen A. Smith. And I'm sorry, sometimes the WNBA drama is the gift that just keeps giving. And if you guys agree, subscribe. We're trying to hit 27.5k by the end of the day, and we're at 36 off. And I will be live for the Chicago Sky game in probably a half an hour after this is uploaded. But lads, she unprivate her Twitter to call out Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith calls out Sheryl Swoopes for basically not bringing up Caitlin Clark's name when talking about the Indiana Fever. So she talked about the Indiana Fever, talked about how great Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, and Lexi Hull were, and decided not to mention Caitlin Clark. And this is coming from a Sheryl Swoopes, who, in this picture right here during her interview, this is probably the least egregious thing, and this would be nothing if, this wouldn't really mean anything if, it wasn't for all the other stuff. But, obviously, she's interviewing Caitlin Clark, and during this interview, Sheryl Swoopes mentions on 5 separate occasions that Caitlin Clark lost her first preseason game. Not, oh, how was the league, how's everything? It's like, oh, the result wasn't what you wanted. Oh, unfortunately, you couldn't get what you wanted in that game. Unfortunately, there was a loss. She basically decided to mention she spent the whole interview saying, ha, you lost. Effectively, basically going, ha, you lost. And this is the same Sheryl Swoopes that called Caitlin Clark a 25-year-old in college last year, said that the only reason she has the scoring record is because she played 4 more years. Or sorry, she played 5 years in college instead of 4 years in college. And then after being corrected on she actually only played 4 years, she's 22 years old, then said, well, she shoots 40 shots a game. She shot under 20 shots a game for her college career. So she basically said one lie, and when she was pulled up on the lie, said another lie, and she was pulled up on the second lie, responded with a third lie. And also, in April, when I think was it the NCAA point, she broke one of Sheryl Swoopes' records, but by the end of it, she completely blew out Sheryl Swoopes' record. It was not even, whatever that record was she broke was not even close. And she was like, well, when we played one less game in the tournament. And it's like, well, yeah, you could have Caitlin Clark, you could have played 4 more games. You could have played an extra year, and she probably still would have had that record. This is a number one Caitlin Clark hater. Then she goes in her podcast and implies, she doesn't say, she implies that Caitlin Clark's team were going to be in the playoffs anyway, and that even without her, they'd be in the playoffs because of a huge addition, Katie Lou Samuelson. She did not say Katie Lou is more important than Caitlin Clark, but she implied that they're of equal importance to the rise of the Indiana Fever. She implied it. She didn't straight out say it. She implied it. She got called out by Al Duncan, who slightly misspoke by said that she said something that she didn't say, but she implied. And then now Al Duncan apologized to Sheryl Swoopes, and Stephen A. Smith is having none of it. He's having none of it. He's he made the perfect point, the exact point Al Duncan made, that the longer Sheryl Swoopes continues this crap, the more ammo it gives to the people saying the media are out for Caitlin Clark. Because Sheryl Swoopes is something out for Caitlin Clark. It is what it is. We know that. She picked the wrong fight here because Stephen A. Smith's not going to back down. Sheryl Swoopes, you talk about whoever and whatever you want in your podcast, correct? So why can't I? Well, I'm sorry. If I had my basketball podcast, on this channel, if I was talking about, and I get it, if you want to look at titles are a little bit different. You title and you thumbnail a video based on what is going on. But if you want to look, and then obviously you're doing something in views. And if you want to say, oh, you're just talking about Caitlin Clark, I want you to look at the last week on this channel. Aces, talking about Dejanay Carrington. And let's just talk about the Seattle Storm game. Talking about Gabby Williams here. The Storm game by itself. Caitlin Clark gets revenge over Dominant Storm team from a damn car. Then we talked about Lexi Hull's big night. Then we talked about Aaliyah Boston, how she's proving she's the best young center. And then, obviously it's a little bit of time, talking about how great Kelsey Mitchell was. So you see, you can, even if you are focused on one, even if you don't want to focus on Caitlin Clark, even if you hate Caitlin Clark, just mention her name. Just mention her name. And she goes, also, did you listen to the entire episode? She has not mentioned Caitlin Clark in a positive light, ever. And I mean this. The closest thing to positive is her saying that Caitlin Clark will start the All-Star game because she's the only point guard on the roster. That is the closest thing to a positive that Sheryl Swoopes has ever said about Caitlin Clark. I mean, could you consider saying that Caitlin Clark, there's not a chance she does what she did in college right away in the WNBA? Can you consider that a positive thing or a non-negative because she said right away? And she didn't say that there was no chance of her ever dominating in the WNBA. And again, these are the closest things to positive things about Caitlin Clark I can hear from Sheryl Swoopes. And the worst part is that, like, there are some people that will go at Caitlin Clark. Heck, even the Trendy Hoop Stars page has said more positive things about Caitlin Clark. And they do a reverse Thaddeus Young graph to make sure Caitlin Clark can't get into any single stat. And they're like, players averaging X, Y, and Z. They will make sure, they will add in a random-ass stat. Sometimes it'll be a random-ass stat. To make sure Caitlin Clark is on none of their graphics. And even they praise Caitlin Clark. They will sometimes be like, well, no, she had a good game. Sheryl Swoopes can't even say Caitlin Clark had a good game. Since the Olympic break, she is averaging 27 and 10. She's averaging, let me repeat, 27 points and 10 assists, round up. 9.5 assists, 26.5 points. She's averaging 27 and 10. And couldn't get a mention? Could not get a mention. A response here. I have a personal relationship with these players and they deserve recognition as well. Nobody's ever questioned that. But I'm sorry, like, if you are a fan of the 1996 Bulls and you were writing about the 1996 Bulls, and you were like, you know what, Luke Longley needs some recognition, let's not mention Michael Jordan. That's crazy. Or, I don't know, you're even at a lesser extent, if you're like, oh, what about, that's just a completely crazy thing. Let's just say the modern day Thunder. You know, I'm a big fan of that Lou Dort guy. So let's make sure we mention Lou Dort. You know, Aaron Wiggins is a baller. So, like, they went and won a game. I don't know, Shea might have 40. But let's talk about every player on the team other than Shea. Because, you know, these other players deserve recognition. Doesn't work like that, and you know it doesn't work like that. She unprivated her Twitter for this, which is the best part about it. And look, WNBA drama is so messy. And also, I really want to find what personal relationship she has with Lexi Hull. I actually want to find what personal relationship she has with Hull. Is there anything? Like, there is nothing. If you type in Sheryl Swoopes, Lexi Hull, it's her talking about... talking about mental health when she's allegedly... To be fair, it is all alleged, but allegedly effectively bullied her players off a team in college. There is no reference anywhere, of Sheryl Swoopes and Lexi Hull. Sheryl Swoopes spoken a couple of weeks ago. I reached out to Angel Reese, Angel on the phone. She responded, went back Swoopes on Sunday. I won't share what she said. Addresses controversial. Okay, sorry, she made a mistake on that. At least she'll apologize for that. But there is literally nothing. There is no picture of Sheryl Swoopes with Lexi Hull. There is no interaction between Sheryl Swoopes and Lexi Hull. There is nothing anywhere between Sheryl Swoopes and Lexi Hull. Actually, I don't think there's anything between Sheryl Swoopes and Kelsey Mitchell. And if you guys don't know, when it came to Sheryl Swoopes, there is also nothing between Sheryl Swoopes and Kelsey Mitchell. Do you guys know, you see this picture here, Sheryl Swoopes and Angel Reese? Do you know that before Angel Reese got into the WNBA, Sheryl Swoopes was saying she wasn't going to be good? Do you know? Or not going to be good. She's not going to she said she wasn't going to dominate the way people thought. Like, that was Sheryl Swoopes' supposed opinion on Angel Reese at the time. But obviously, once the Caitlin Clark hate changed, we can talk more about hyping up Angel Reese. She was part of the let's hype Angel Reese to the moon for no other reason than she's not Caitlin Clark. When in reality, I think Angel Reese deserves praise at her own right. But the people that were some of the people that were disingenuous in their praise of Angel Reese, just doing it to try screw over Caitlin Clark wasn't good either. But yeah. I have a relationship with these players. They deserve recognition as well. I agree. They do deserve recognition as well. I don't think anyone, Caitlin Clark herself, gave Lexi Hull recognition. I don't think people are talking about Leah Boston like she's freaking Jokic. And I'm sorry. Kelsey Mitchell averaged 27 points. She's getting recognition. You can give again, you can give Steve Kerr recognition without ignoring Michael Jordan. But obviously Sheryl Swoopes can't. You 100% should mention other players, but don't mention Caitlin on purpose. You're supposed to be a WNBA podcast. You just broke the rookie assist record. We know what you're all about. Exactly. And the worst part about this is, if this is just a hater podcast, it is what it is. But like, this is actually sponsored by the WNBA, which is not good. Like, it's not a good look when a podcast that you sponsor and promote actively will either go out of their way to hate on Caitlin Clark or go out of their way to not mention Caitlin Clark. But anyway, that is the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.